welcome back to Beauty Bees and to my very, very belated makeup inventory for, do we want to call this December 2024 or February 2025? Either way, also a beetle inventory. Still have just one. Okay, so we're starting out with my base products. I also put my cream highlight, blush, and if I had cream bronzer, they would be in the spread as well. So let's get into things. I have my last video pulled up. And let's start with primers. In my last video, I had 4 primers. Today I have 3. It looks like I've decluttered 2. Both from e.l.f. the Watermelon Jelly Pop Primer and the e.l.f. Poreless Putty Primer. I did get as a free sample, I'm guessing from Ulta, this NYX Plump Right Back. Actually, this is a serum and primer, so I stuck it in with my primers. Beetle, this is not gonna work, dude. Not gonna work. So that number has gone down by 1 to declutter 1 new. For foundation, I previously had just one. It was this Pretty Fresh from ColourPop. Since then, I have purchased another one. This is from the Beauty Crop. It is their Vitamin Babe Skin Loving Foundation. I thought this was going to be a little bit lighter coverage than the ColourPop. I think it has a hair more coverage, but they're both pretty medium coverage foundations, which is good for me because I don't really like wearing foundation very much. But I like having the option for those days where my skin is just not cooperating. So up by 1 in this category. For concealer, I used to have just one. I just had this little NARS, what is this called? The Radiant Creamy Concealer. I'm calling it that. I should know the name of this, but I'm not gonna look it up. Now I also have this little Haus Labs blister pack. I assume that if any of these work for me, Fair Neutral will be the one that does, but looking at it against the NARS, it looks like it's a little bit deeper, which might actually work out. We'll see. I should really try this in the next week or so and see if I want to keep it or if this is just something that can go in the trash. So I'm really happy with where all of these base categories are at. I think that this makes a lot of sense for me. I guess we also need to cover powder. Previously, I had 4 powders. Now I have 6. There are 2 newbies here. So we have another little free sample. This is from Givenchy. It is their Prisma Libra 4-color loose powder. It's one of the quads of powders that they have that all have a slightly different tint. I intend on just dumping it into either this little Laura Mercier or the By Terry container once I finish these off. And then I very recently, in my Allure Beauty box, got this Ciate London powder. Now, I have no idea how I'm going to use this up because there's so much powder here, and I very rarely use powder, and I don't tend to use a lot of it, but I'm very intrigued by this because it looks so incredibly light in the container. It's so finely milled. It's like liquid almost in there. It just flows so beautifully. So I'm really interested to try this out. Ciate is not a brand that I'm ever very interested in, but I have a few of their products and quite like them. So hopefully this one's a hit. So I'm not thrilled with where my powder is at. I went from 4 up to 6. True, I didn't outright purchase any of them, or either of the 2 that came into my collection. In fact, I think the only one that I've outright purchased is this Laura Geller one. The other ones just tend to somehow come to me. It'd be nice to have this down to 5 by the next update, but I don't know how likely that is to happen. Now for the cream products. In cream highlighters, I previously had 2. It was the Pixie and the e.l.f. Just in the last month, I received from Influencer a couple of Revlon products, including this face and body glow lotion. I haven't tried it yet. I'll be interested to give it a go. So my 2 cream highlighters have gone up to 3. These are a product I'm really not good about using, so 3 seems like a good upper limit for me. It'd be nice to be down to 2, but I don't see myself using any of these up or choosing to declutter these in the next 6 months. And for cream blush, let's look at the previous spread. It looks like I had 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 in my last update, and now I have 8. So let's see. The 3 new ones are this Purlisse Blush and Glow cheek color in this plummy shade. This is pretty plum, so plummy shade was a good descriptor. This Lawless blush, which I adore. This is Lawless Angel. I use this so often. Love it. This works with any look. It looks really natural on my cheeks. And then this Danessa Myricks one in Rosé and Brunch, which is a little bit pigmented for my tastes, but is nevertheless also a really pretty cream blush. And it looks like I additionally decluttered 2, one from YC Collection and one from e.l.f. So my numbers changed only slightly. I went from 7 to 8, and I'm really happy with where this little collection is at. I wouldn't mind getting one more, but I think that 8 is a reasonable number for me. Okay, so spread number 2 is my powder face products. I guess I say powder. I suppose I put these ColourPop Super Shock cheek products in here, but we're just calling them powders, okay? So let's see, what is new here? Not too much. I did get 2 NYX Buttermelt products, and I'm not as wild about these as everyone else seemed to be. So this is the bronzer. I got the lightest shade, I believe, which is Buttercup. I don't even feel right saying that. I thought this was going to be a little bit more pink than it ended up being. It's also quite pigmented. And that's the same issue that I have with the blush, which is For the Butter. It's just really dark and really bold, and I thought I was getting one of the lighter shades. So yeah, I haven't gotten great use out of either of those, but I'm hoping that in the summer I will get really good use out of the bronzer, the blush. I still need to try a little bit more, but I'm not feeling very attached to that. I also picked up another shade of the Too Cool Art Class by Rodin contours. So this is a little trio of contour powders, and I had the darker, warmer shade previously. I ended up purchasing the Moderne shade, and I really like both of these. I did do some decluttering though, so I'm hoping that some of my numbers did go down a little bit. Previously, back in June, I had 21 powder blushes, and today I would say that I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 powder blushes. So my numbers did go down by 1, which seems about right. I'm trying to think. I guess I would have decluttered 2. I don't think I would have used any up, but though I suppose there is a potential that I just categorized something differently. Maybe Bleecker Street I'd categorized as a blush at one point when now I'm calling it a bronzer. We'll see. As far as my bronzers, I assume that this number has gone up slightly. So previously I had 9 powder bronzers, and now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So yes, that number has gone up very slightly. I purchased 2. I think I decluttered 1. Seems reasonable. I'm pretty happy with where both of those numbers are at. It would be nice to get under 20 on the powder blush category, and I think that's actually within reach because by the end of the year, I intend on having neither of these two. I think that I will end up decluttering this lovely cookie blusher once I hit pan on it, which hopefully should happen any day now. Been saying that for months though, and this Wet n Wild baked blush is in my project pan this year to sort of get to a point where I would feel okay decluttering it, and I'm getting close to that point. So some slight changes there, but nothing too groundbreaking. As far as highlighters, my numbers really shouldn't have changed very much at all because I don't think I got any new highlighters. Previously, I had 13 powder highlighters, and now I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. And I am pretty sure that I did declutter 1 highlighter. So that all adds up. Looks like my numbers here have really stabilized pretty well. Not seeing a lot of growth, not seeing a huge decrease, but I wouldn't expect to see a huge decrease between subsequent updates in this category because I don't want to do a really cutthroat declutter, and I'm not going to use up a ton of blush at a time. That just isn't going to happen. So this is pretty good. I'm happy with where I'm at. All right, next up we have eye accessories and single shadows because I had enough space to put them out. So this is kind of a mixed bag. Let's start with the eye primer. In my last update I had 2, now I just have 1. I just have the NYX glitter primer. Previously I also had like a standard eye primer from the Balm. I never used it. It had been open for at least 2 years, maybe even more. So I ended up decluttering that at some point. So 2 to 1 here. I think 1 is a great spot for me. In mascara, I was actually like really quite low on mascara in my last video. I just had 1, and now I'm not. Right now I have 5, though there's some asterisks to this. I think that my Hourglass Unlocked, which is what I'm currently using, is kind of on its last legs. I think I have about a week left with this, and then I will be calling that an empty. I purchased these 2 Lash Beats mascaras from e.l.f. I'm really hoping that these will be a good mascara for me. The style of brush looks like something that I've been enjoying lately, so fingers crossed. This would be a really good budget option if it happens to work out. I received this Revlon Colorstay Full-Time Mascara in the same box where I got the liquid highlighter I showed earlier from Influencer. I am allergic to beeswax. This has beeswax in it. I will be passing it along to a friend. I just haven't done so yet, so it's counting towards my inventory. And then finally I have the Kat Von D or KVD Vegan Beauty something full sleeve mascara. This was in an Allure Beauty box and I have not used it yet. So right now I have 5 mascaras. In about a week I should be down to 3, which I think is a little bit more reasonable. I feel good at about 3. I think that's pretty comfortable. It allows me to have 1 or 2 backups. Great. 5 is a little much, but 5 is a short-term situation. Brow products. In my previous video, I had 10. I bet I'm right around the same number now. So I'm at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, yeah, I guess there's been probably no movement here. I am relatively close on both of these brow pencils, and I'm about 2/3 of the way through this Kosas Airbrow. I don't tend to buy a lot of brow products directly. I'm pretty sure both of these came in boxes. Elf threw these in as free birthday gifts. They just kind of come to me, and I'm really slow about using up brow products. So not an area where I feel like I have a purchasing issue, but an area where I would like to trim things back a little bit. Primer, mascara, brow products are not things that I find very interesting or very fun. Now we're moving on to the stuff that I actually do really like, and with eyeliners. So in my last video, I had 15 eyeliners. I am almost certain that has gone up, probably by quite a bit. So first, we have this Revlon Colorstay Lash Serum Plus Liner, part of the same box as the mascara. Have not tried it yet. I don't have any thoughts yet. I think this CoverGirl... No, it looks like the CoverGirl is also new. This is their Perfect Point Plus Lash Line Micro Pencil. Clearly haven't tried that one out either. I have 2 open black eyeliners, so I've been kind of trying to focus on them first. And then over Black Friday, ColourPop had a deal on their cream gel liners that they were, I think, $2 each. And I wanted to try out some fun colors, so I ended up picking up 6. Now, at the time, I kind of thought probably didn't need to get 6, but I've really been enjoying playing around with these. These are fun. I don't think they're great quality. They have a tendency to transfer a little bit, but I've really been having fun with them. They're allowing me to do looks that I couldn't do with other products that I had in my collection, which I think makes them a good purchase. Now, I think I would have had all of these in previous videos, but let's count up and see. Yeah, I think that works out. I have 22 total eyeliners right now, 15 old ones, which is what I had in my last video, plus 7 new ones. Or actually 8 new ones. What? You know what? I think I was counting this as an eyeliner in my last video, because I'm getting 23 total eyeliners, 15 of them are old, I have 8 new ones. That adds up. Okay, so no decrease among what I had previously had. I added 8 new eyeliners. I see that very much as a one-time occurrence. I don't plan on going out and buying a bunch more eyeliners, but it's good to know that that happened. And that's something that I can keep in the back of my mind and keep an eye on for the future. So an increase in this category for sure by about 1/3, but it's not what I'm upset about. And like I said, I included my liquid and single shadows here as well. Since my last video, I have done a little bit of decluttering of my liquid eyeshadows. Previously, I had 8, and I now have 4. This one is new. This is from Elf, and it is the shade Venus Envy. It's one of their multi-chrome liquid eyeshadows. This is really pretty, and kind of like I said with the eyeliners, it's just something that's very different than anything else I own. So I was happy to have that. I ended up decluttering quite a few because they were just old and I'm not great about using them, especially when I feel that the products are something like an effect that I could achieve with a powder shadow. I find powder shadows just as easy or easier to use. I don't have to specifically grab one out. You know, I had like some champagne and light pink shades. I can do that with half the palettes I own. So I ended up getting rid of those. They were starting to get a little bit older. I'd had them for probably close to 3 years in most cases. So those are gone now, and I feel good about that decision. As far as my single shadows go, these don't tend to be an area where there's ever very much movement. I had 11 in my last video of these Super Shocks from ColourPop. Now I have 10. I decluttered a purple one because it was starting to dry out on me. I additionally had these two little one-off singles, one from IBY and one from Natasha Denona. And since that video, I have purchased one of these e.l.f. singles. This is the Finest Fleck Glitter Eyeshadow in Champagne Showers. My friend has Space Cowboy from Urban Decay, and it looks gorgeous on her. I thought this was maybe going to be similar, and I think it might be similar on her. She just has a little bit of a deeper skin tone than me. On me, it has a little bit too much obvious base color. Like, it's still a pretty shade, don't get me wrong, but it looks like a peach shade with a lot of shimmer rather than like a nude wet look eyeshadow, which is kind of what I was going for. So that starts our overall eyeshadow pan count at 13. Take that into the next spread. Okay, so this is spread 1 of 2 for palettes, and it looks like there has been some movement here. So most of these have been in my collection for quite a while, but I see 3 things that I think are new. First up is the Too Faced That's My Jam. I feel like I've had this for quite a while, so maybe I just purchased it right after my last inventory video. This is a little 8-pan palette. It's very cute. I really like the shimmers in particular. Like, these 3 shimmers are just gorgeous. I don't have a lot of use for a hot pink shimmer, but the other 3 are beautiful neutrals for every day. Beetle loves that it smells a little bit like peanut butter. Yeah, and I do too. Next is this LYS palette. This is a 6-pan. It is the Love Yourself eyeshadow palette. Well, I guess that's what LYS is, in Empowered. And this is a 6-pan palette. I'm using this right now in my project palette for the year. I'm trying to use all my eyeshadow palettes at least 5 times, and I've used this a couple times. I'm just not wild about it. I don't see anything super inspiring in here, but I have liked the looks that I've gotten. And then finally, we have this Pat McGrath palette. This is the Quad in Eternal Eden. And this is a pretty palette. I've got to give her that. I have used especially this shade quite a bit. I've also used this peachy shade quite a bit. Really pretty. I don't think it's $52 or whatever these regularly retail for pretty, but 15 bucks pretty? Absolutely. And then everything else here I've had for quite a while at this point. I did have another one of these ColourPop quads in like a berry tone. I ended up decluttering that, and I don't think there's pairs to any of these other items that I've decluttered or anything. So in front of me I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 21 palettes with a total of 8, 16, 24, 28, 32, 36, 46, 51, 57, 61, 67, 75, 81. Is this a 15-pan palette? 96, 105, 109, 121, 139, 157, 175 shades. So our running total is 188 pans of eyeshadow. So I don't think I have everything quite in frame here, but whatever, it's fine. These are my ColourPop palettes that aren't quads. It just kind of works out that they make up a spread of their own, which is probably a sign that I probably don't need any more ColourPop palettes. But I bought 2 of them this year. So we have Or Kid You Not, which is like a deep purple berry neutral shade color family. It's really pretty. I love this shade right here, Pretty One. First of all, accurate naming. Second of all, I wear this all the time as a single shadow look to work. Occasionally I'll put it, like any neutral in the crease. It always works. It's gorgeous. The other one that I purchased is It's My Pleasure, which is a lighter, more pink purple take. I think this is one of the earliest monochromatic palettes that they came out with when they still were calling them monochromatic, but they weren't really. Like this has some pink, it has some purple, has a brown. I would say that Mr. Sandman is more of a brown than anything. It's a pretty palette, just not that monochromatic. And then everything else here I've had for quite a while. So in front of me I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 palettes totaling 30, 60, 78, 96, 114, 123, 132, 141, 153 shades. So let's add that to my running total. That's 341 shades so far. One more spread. And finally, we have reached my last spread of eyeshadows. So these are all of my magnetic singles. Beetle is very interested in them, aren't you? And there are quite a lot of them. I really was not great about getting a ton of use on these this past year. I didn't do great with a lot of my projects last year. I kind of fell off of many of them. No, sir, you can look, but you cannot touch. Especially with your nose, because I know the things you sniff. I've seen what you sniff. So, before Beetle gets too invested in any of these, let's count them up. So we have 12, 30, 54, so there are 91 total eyeshadows here, which if I look back at my running total, 328, 341 plus 91 would be 432 And in comparison to last year, I had 412. So my total has gone up by 20. I purchased 5 new palettes this year. Yeah. I'm not thrilled with how that number has changed. I didn't really think that I'd purchase that many palettes. A little disappointed in that, but oh well. I'll just make a mental note to not buy any eyeshadow for a while. Hopefully hit some pans here as well as in the other palettes that I showed you, and that should be good. I'm still not at my highest number ever, which was back in December of 2022 when I had 451 eyeshadows, but I'm quickly approaching that, and I don't want to be there again. And this is the last spread. It's also probably going to be the worst as far as increases in numbers goes because I bought a lot of lip products. I didn't realize how many lip products I had purchased in the last 8 months, but there's a lot. So let's start with new lipsticks. I have 2 here. I have one from Pat McGrath. This is in Christy. And it is a pretty, oh, well, I might not have this anymore. It is broken at the base. We're gonna try to fix that though. It is a pretty like peachy nude shade. And then this Tarte Maracuja Juicy Lip Cream in Mauve is beautiful. You can see I've already put a little bit of a dent in it, and I only got this in December, I think. It's pretty. Very easy everyday shade for me. We don't tend to put a lot of weight on categories here because which categories things fall into, is this a tinted lip balm or a bullet lipstick? Those tend to be a little bit fluid. They tend to change from video to video. So we mostly focus on that final number, though I do count up individual categories. So let's transition to new glosses. These are all new glosses, and that is ridiculous to me. I don't know what I was doing. Over the 8 months, I've apparently purchased what? 5, 7, 9, 13 new lip glosses. Now, I was, admittedly, a little bit on the low side of where I generally am with lip glosses. I was down to, it looks like I had 7-ish. I think I've used up a couple glosses in the past month, but past months as well. But, you know, I had probably on the smaller side of what I would like to have as far as lip glosses go. And then I was like, let's just triple that amount. Let's just buy 13 more. Now there are a couple of things that are more like lip balms here, and those are products that I have traditionally not always counted in these inventories, but I brought them in. I have been using them like lip glosses or lip balms. I kind of use them interchangeably, so we're just gonna count all of them. So there's 20 lip glosses. The new ones are this one from ColourPop, the So Juicy and Hit Stiff. This is a nice lip gloss. I feel like it is not quite as plumping as this Patrick Ta one in 2cc's. I think I slightly prefer this, but I feel like people who like either one of these will probably like the other one. I have this Hangover X from Too Faced in the banana scent, which is divine. I have this little sample of a Clinique gloss that's probably almost gone. This is more like a lip balm gloss, I feel anyway. this Bath & Body Works Sugar Plum Candy lip gloss, which I've been wearing around the house, and it doesn't taste like plum, it tastes like grape candy, but not arguing with that. These Too Faced Kissing Jelly Glosses, which are so much fun. I think that one of them is like sour watermelon, and one of them is, yes, sour watermelon and bubblegum, and they both smell spot on. These are really fun. I love these. Milani Fruit Fetish. I finished a few of these in the past, and I'm like half done with this one. This is another one that I tend to wear just around the house. As is the Summer Fridays Iced Mocha. This just lives at my desk for when I'm working from home. This Bare Minerals gloss in Heart is beautiful. You can see I like these. I have 2 others and I finished a 3rd, but this shade Heart is just such an easy everyday lip color for me. That's been living in my purse. This Merit lip oil is a new acquisition. I just got this a few days ago, but it's really pretty. This Pat McGrath lip gloss mini is very sparkly. I find it a little bit hard to wear, but it's fun. And then I really do like this NYX fat oil. This one's really pretty. Okay, so I think as we were going through that, I realized I bought a lot of lip gloss, but I at least like all of them. So that's good at least. The only one that well, there's 2 that I could do without. I could do without the Pat McGrath, and I could do without the Clinique, but I see myself finishing both of those, so can't complain too much. Let's move around and talk about lip liner next. My lip liners tend to stay quite constant from inventory video to inventory video. I did buy one this time. This is in Full Speed? Yes. It's a red. I just didn't have a good red lip liner. And I like red lipstick, so I decided these were on sale on ColourPop. I was gonna get just one, and I'm really happy with that purchase. Okay, for lip balms, I have 6 new ones that I'm calling lip balms. We've said earlier, there's some movement here, or what I call lip balm versus liquid lipstick versus bullet lipstick versus lip gloss. They're all kind of moving targets, but I have 6 here to talk about. So first we have Glass Ruby from Revlon, and this is a beautiful red shade. There is some sheerness, but you can build these up to like as much color as you want, which I really appreciate. They're nicely moisturizing. I have this Refi lips blush in Wine, which this is interesting because it's matte or very nearly matte. Almost has a little bit of a powdery look on the lips. Actually, not too dissimilar from this NARS Unrestricted matte lip balm. Different shades, but I feel like if I had this NARS one in a similar color, that I would probably get a very similar effect from the 2. This is one that I just came in when I had a bunch of new lip products, so I feel like I haven't gotten a huge amount of use on it yet, but I really do like it. We have this NYX this NYX Slick Click Fat Oil, which I cannot say, but this is really pretty. I wear this a lot. And then I just recently purchased these 2 from ColourPop. I think I got these like over Black Friday or something. These are from the Frosty the Snowman set. I actually got I was supposed to get all 3, and I only received 2 of them in the package. So I have All Melted and Frozen. I like All Melted more than I like Frozen because it's a little bit more solid. This is more like a gloss, and this is more like a lipstick. They're the same formula though, so I don't know what ColourPop is doing. And now for the moment of truth. I'm like actually kind of nervous about this. Let's see. 5, 10, 13, 16, 19, 22, 25, 28, 30, 35, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 52, 53, 54, 55, 67, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64, 65, 66, 67, 68, 69, 70, 86 total lip products. And drum roll please. In the past, in my last video, I had 81. In my December 2023 video, I had 80. And I have increased my numbers back to where I was in June of 2023 when I had 87 lip products. So, need to be a little bit better about that. I am planning to pan some of these this year. I will probably declutter some of these this year. Hopefully I won't buy a ton of lip products. Looking at this, it's like, okay, Iris, you went a little bit off the rails there. But I did also use up a lot of lip products last year. So if I can keep up the pace of finishing things and slow down the pace of bringing things in, I think that I will see some really positive change in coming months. So that about wraps up my video. There has definitely been a little bit of backsliding here. I was doing really well in pretty much lowering all or almost all of my numbers from inventory to inventory. This time some things jumped up a little bit and I don't want that to happen again. So definitely a good reminder to keep my purchasing in check. And with that, I think we'll wrap things up. Thank you so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. I did film my nail polish and body care inventory back in January and December. So I will have those linked up in the cards. If you would like to check those out, I would recommend them. If you like this style of video, you'll probably like those too. Thanks again, and I hope I see you guys next time. Bye y'all.